The weather has started to cool off here at the Stafford Motor Speedway, but the on-track racing has not as we move into the middle of August here at Stafford, coming off a great night of racing a week ago, headlined by a new winner in the Napa SK5K for the SK Modifieds.
Finally. It took 67 starts before Marcello finally got his first win in his 68th SK Modified start. I mean, we've said it all season long. When is it going to happen? It's a matter of when, not if. He had 3 runner-ups this year alone before finally taking that win, and what a race to do it. The Napa SK5K, the biggest race for the SK Modifieds all season. He had to hold out the defending champion Todd Owen and Keith Rocco, who made a bold 3-wide move on the restart, but Marcello was able to take care of both of them and get the checker flag. And I mean, you saw the exhaustion, but the elation. It was such a cathartic feeling for Refrano and that team, coming so close so many times, but they took that checkered flag. Nice burnout in turn 1, too, as well. So it was a great way to cap off a crazy, chaotic, wild, any adjective you want night at Stafford.
One of the most emotional victory lanes that we have seen here in quite some time. He held off the defending champion, Todd Owen, who has continued to do exactly what he needs to do, and that's finish at the front of the field. Last Friday night, a second place.
You could pretty much take what we said last week and copy and paste it to this week's
last
preview.
Couple weeks, yeah.
Exactly. I mean, 7 straight top 5 finishes. With such a tough field, it's hard to win a lot. I mean, the most wins this season by a driver is only 3, when we've had drivers win 5, 6 races in the season. And that's because the competition is so tough that if you can't win, podiums don't hurt. Top 5s don't hurt. And that's what Todd's doing. And he was just 1 car in front of another big wreck in turn 1. And we talked about how it's a matter of inches with the luck. And that's why he has a point lead of, what, over 70?
76. 76-point lead going into this Friday night for Todd Owen. You mentioned the trouble. He was able to miss another incident last week in turn number 1 that saw some post-crash altercations. Those penalty reports are out. Go to StaffordSpeedway.com for the full list. In the late models, a multi-time champion back in victory lane, but only for the second time this year.
What's even crazier to think is that it's Tom Fern's first multi-win season since 2019, when he won like 10 or 12. So Tom back in victory lane, he was really fast. He was really fast in the late model feature and pretty much cleared the field out within the first half of the race. And he was fast all season long. It's just you need that extra bit more, not just to win the race, but heck, to even beat a guy like Adam Gray, who's just been on a tear all season long. But we talked about Adam Gray a lot this season. He spun on the first lap in the first turn, and he bounced back to finish second. So 10 straight podium finishes for the point leader. It's ridiculous to think, like, how many times you'll see a driver finish in the podium 10 consecutive races. It doesn't happen very often. So Adam Gray's got it going still. Didn't get the win, but I guess that top 2 streak is starting over again.
It is. It is. And that's why he has a 30-point lead over Tom Fern coming into this week's late model feature. In the SK Lights, it's the Tyler and Tyler show.
Yes. Wow, I didn't even think of it like that, because Tyler Alkis did get his first SK Light win. The week before, he had a really good 6th-place run, and last Friday took the lead and pulled away from Chris Matthews, the all-time winningest SK Light driver in Stafford, and got the win. I don't know how many people would have predicted that happening, but good on Tyler. I mean, his rookie year, he missed the race earlier in the season because of a big wreck he had in turn 4 where he went head-on to the guardrail. He bounces back, and here he is in victory lane, exhausted.
He was.
It was hot. He was exhausted out of his mind, but he got to celebrate the win. It's so cool to see Tyler celebrate with Mark Alkis, Ken Berry, the Spafco team. I mean, it was a big win. A lot of people on social media were excited for it. And he's a good kid with an amazing mullet, by the way.
I was going to say, some of the best hair in the pits. Let's talk about the other 2 Tylers. They had eventful nights finishing mid-pack. Tyler Berry, the point leader, over a closing now, Tyler Chapman.
Yeah, well, Chapman finished 6th.
Yep.
And Berry didn't even crack the top 10.
11.
He finished 11th. That's the first finish outside the top 10, aside from a wreck or an issue leading to a DNF. So Ken Berry told me they tried something different, worked really well in the heat race, and then he described the car as evil loose in the feature. So we'll see what Tyler Berry and the team can do to recover. He's still looking for that first win this season. He has 4 runner-up finishes, but even then, Tyler Chapman, the last few weeks, not really performing to the way he was in the first half of the season, where he was racking up podiums, even a couple wins. So both teams are kind of off right now. Who knows? It's still a toss-up between the two Tylers.
14 points between Tyler Berry and Tyler Chapman coming into this week. In the limited late models, a former champion back in victory lane, that is, for the second time this year, in Jeremy Lavoie.
It's okay. English is hard.
It can be.
So Jeremy Lavoie returns to victory lane for the second time this season. Another guy that was really fast. I mean, we talked about Tom Fern being fast in the late models. Jeremy Lavoie checked out.
He did.
He checked out from that field, and it was a big one because last week Rich Hammond got a win and extended his point lead. So this recent Friday, Jeremy Lavoie gets his win. He closes into 10 points on Rich Hammond, who wasn't really talked about much during that feature. He was just quietly outside the podium for the entire race. So we'll see if Rich Hammond can bounce back and get that win, because those two have been going back and forth. It seems like 1 week Lavoie has the edge. The next week, Hammond has the edge. Just makes it fun to follow, that's for sure, because you don't know what to expect.
We've talked about Marcello Refrano finally getting that win. Is Kevin Cormier next as the rookie late model competitor that has finished well these last few weeks?
Just like Refrano, he had 3 runner-ups this year before getting that first win, so who knows? He's not that far off, just needs to put it all together and keep a good car for the entire 20-lap race.
And in the street stock feature, I think a win maybe overshadowed a bit by the last lap wreck off of turn number 4 involving David Mesha, but Travis Downey claiming his second win here of his career and of the season, and in the last, five weeks?
Yeah, and it was very impressive because he passed Jason Finkbein on the outside.
He did.
It is not easy to make a pass on the outside in the street stocks, but he pulled it off. Those two were door-to-door for multiple laps before Downey finally cleared Finkbein. Those two have had their battles throughout the season. We talked about the photo finish earlier in the year. They've had their beating and banging last week. They got together a couple weeks before that, but they kept it in one piece for the most part. Downey gets the win. Finkbein, another great run for that 46 team. And you said slightly overshadowed. First, the 2-point leaders got together.
They did.
Burt Willett and Travis Hydar tangled in turn 1. Burt got the worst of it, but they both ended up in the back because Hydar got black flagged for the contact. And then in the end, Willett tangles with David Mesha Sr., and my gosh, it had to be one of the more terrifying crashes in recent memory, flipping over, but thankfully Mesha was okay. In the points picture, Burt Willett's car was heavily damaged from that and lost many positions as a result. So Travis Hydar got a much-needed jump in the points because of Willett's accident.
38 points, the difference between Travis Hydar and Burt Willett. You mentioned Travis Hydar, a nice bounce back for him after grenading an engine 2 weeks ago.
Well, he lost 2 engines in 2 weeks because the week before he overheated the engine to the point of no return. So he needed that. It's a good bounce back in the race after getting black flag to go from the back to a top 5 finish and narrowly avoiding that incident between Mesha and Willett. That happened right in front of him, but he was able to cut below both of them before all the craziness happened in turn 4.
Those are just some of the storylines coming into this Friday night here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. All 5 divisions on track. All the action gets underway at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. And if you can't be here in person, you can always tune in on flowracing.com.